Hello everyone. Well, I hope you're all doing well. It's been quite warm here this past couple of weeks, and this week in particular has gone up to 30 degrees now, and for the remainder of the rest of the week, and supposed to be feeling like 40 with the humidity. So my trees are loving it. Over here behind me, you can see them there, nice and warm and all growing very well. Hopefully the sun's not putting too much of a glare on things here. Up behind me here you can see my peaches up in the peach tree. The squirrels haven't been able to get all of them. Hopefully they'll leave me some. Anyway, we're gonna go see a few things that have just happened lately over here. I'll slowly get through all my trees here over this next couple of months, as they pretty much all need a little wee bit of work. So let's just go start with what I just did yesterday. So here in the seed tray, I just planted the seeds that I received from Todd's Tropical about 2 to 3 months ago now. It's really been warm this past couple of weeks, but especially this past week. We're into the 30s now, 20s, so we could be seeing a fair bit of this weather now, so I figure now would have been a great time to plant these seeds and get them going, especially before the fall. So a good 3/4 of this container is Boswellia sacra. Actually, it's right up to the last 2 cells over here. These last 2 over here are the bullhorn acacias. I've only got 2 seeds, so hopefully they'll take, and there are 2 on the very end. And the rest are, like I say, they're all Boswellias. And in this tray we have the monkey ear seeds. And there's some remaining shells. That's probably only about 2 shells, because they are quite the size. I haven't even cleaned up yet. I was out here until after dark last night, actually. Getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, trying to finish this off, because I just wanted it done, because right now the temperatures are just perfect for planting tropical trees, or tropical seeds I should say, for germinating, especially the Boswellias. Oh, there's some more stuff. Some more cuttings of a maple tree that I picked up for my yard, actually. I can't remember what kind of maple it is, but it's a smaller leaf maple now. Kind of an ornamental tree, but it does grow still quite the size. And it looks like these cuttings are really catching on, because these are all brand new shoots here in this last month. When I think of the name or find out the name, I'll let you guys know. But you can see here there's all some new growth down at the bottom, some over here. Yeah, so some more new stuff on the way. I know, I think I'm starting to get into it too much here maybe, but it's just these cuttings were just going to be thrown away otherwise, so why not try to start something with them. And in this container over here, this is the Eastern Red Cedar seeds. So we also have Eastern Red Cedar up here, but it is kind of neat because these are from Florida. So that's all I have planted for now, although I do have more seeds to plant. Yeah, so thanks to Todd's Tropicals. Surely I should get some new trees out of all these seeds here. It's going to be quite interesting. And just to think I have more to plant. So it's a good thing I put up a second set of shelves and lights downstairs for next year, or this fall, because I'm certainly going to need them by the looks of things. especially for my tropical stuff, if a lot of my seedlings make it. While I'm here, I might as well show you guys all these cuttings here. These are bougainvillea cuttings. These are from cuttings that I made when I trimmed back my bougainvillea. I think it was about last early September, I think it was. So I had some woody cuttings, so I planted them, and a lot of them have really caught on really good. You can see some ficus cuttings that have caught on, smaller ones, and they're doing okay too. While I'm out here, I remember a couple of months ago, I can't remember who it was right now, they were asking about my apple bonsai. And here it is here. It is still doing very well and growing very well. So this is one I'm going to be working on very soon here, because we got to do some work to it. Actually, I should have time tomorrow to work on it. So this is one definitely that I really want to work on soon here. And here is my bougainvillea now. It's going to need a trim really soon too. It's getting quite long and leggy, but that's all right. Just keep growing it. There's some little Manitoba maples, just in containers. Another small little Manitoba maple over here. I thought I lost this little guy last fall. Yeah, I got this off of from the bonsai zone, from Nigel there, last September, I think. And it died back, and I didn't think I was gonna see anything come back out of it, but this spring the trunk was still green, and it looked like a little bulb near the bottom, and it stayed green for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it shot this new growth out. So that's a coffee tree. So yeah, I was happy to see that. That's really cool. So it's back. Here's my Green Island ficus. You can see it's done some growing. It's grown about an inch in some places, and new leaves. So we're also going to be looking at doing a bit of work on that in a little while. Also, here's my larger Manitoba maple. You guys can see it. I also repotted that and put that in a larger container. So I also cut that back this year about a month ago, if you guys remember. It was just a single trunk. So I give it a trunk chop. And just a little bit earlier this spring, I started getting new growth on it, and now I got 2 trunks coming out from that single one, so I'm just letting it grow right now. And my little forsythia that I was going to do something with, that I just haven't had time to do anything with, is not looking good at all, so I'm going to have to pull it out of there and see what's going on. I did have some newer growth this spring, but it's not looking good, so I don't know what's going on in there, so we'll have to see what is going on. Now the bad news is my larch didn't come back this year. I knew it was going to be really iffy, because when I dug this up out of the ground, out of the side of my house, when I had to get it out of there, I had to remove a lot of the roots. and I was afraid that it wasn't going to make it. And I was surprised to see that it came back last year, but there wasn't a lot of growth on it at all. And yeah, this year nothing came out on it at all. So that was the only not so good thing that happened this year. So I guess I could still count myself very lucky that I haven't lost any other trees. And here are some of those Kalanchoe cuttings. If you remember those, they're really getting large. Well, for what they're supposed to be anyways, which is a smaller house plant. Here's a cedar cutting from last year that's really turning out doing great. You can see the new growth there on the top, the really young green stuff. Let's see if I can turn that around here and show you guys. Yeah, so all right here and up here and over here, about an inch and a half worth of new growth this year. So that's awesome that cutting survived and caught on, and it came from that nice thick hedge right there. Lots of material there, needless to say. There's the poinsettia forest. You can see it's come back quite nicely. This is my Fukian tea. We got a flower out on it. Huh, that's a good sign. There's another flower. Another flower there with more flowers to come. You can see them there. That's good. It means it's happy. I'm going to show you this jade that I got here a few months ago. I have a nice pot that I got to put this in. So that's another thing that I'll be doing this summer. So you can see how wild this is. It was a house plant and just kind of left go and watered, and that was it. So it's on the wild side. Well, I wasn't going to go through everything, but I'm not going to go through everything, but I'll go through a few more here. And beside my Fukian tea is my weeping cherry, or Malpighiaea. We got some new growth since I got it, probably about 3 inches. A little over 3 inches in some areas. It's doing quite well. I also got this tree here along with my Green Island ficus from the bonsai guy, Chris Hendry. So this is also where this weeping cherry came from. So it's really cool. You can't see the roots at all right now. I know it looks quite a shame here. I just haven't gotten around to weeding this yet right now lately. I also planted my garden. I've been controlling the weeds in it, so that's been a chore lately also. Anyways, however, I got some work to also do on this little guy. But I really like this tree when I seen it also. It's quite unique, I think. And beside the weeping cherry we have my Sarissa. Originally these came from the bonsai zone early last September. There was 3 cuttings altogether. Both of these were about half the size that they are now. So yeah, they grew a fair bit over the winter time. And lately they've been doing a bit more growing and really greening up with this warmer weather now that is approached. So they're doing a lot better now. So that's good. Back here, recognize my geranium bonsai. We're going to be doing just a little bit of work on that also very soon here. Not very much, but we will be cutting it away back. And here's my Kalanchoe bonsai. I also have a pot for this that we'll be putting this in. I'll also be cutting this away back. You can see the trunks have done some thickening up since the last time I did a video on this. And here's my avocado seedling. It's kind of getting big to call it a seedling, but I'd have to say it still is. You can see how big the leaves are getting on it. Now we're going to be doing some work on this also. I want to cut it back on the top, not very far, because you can see some back budding going on the trunk there. So I wouldn't mind get some different direction going on this. As we move down the trunk, you can see it's still kind of growing out of the seed here. The seed has split and it's kind of growing out of the center of it. So yeah, that's really cool. What we also may do is cut it back a little, nip it back a bit at the top, and we'll be putting it into a little bigger pot. So I think that's what we'll be doing, at least before the fall anyways. Actually before then, because I'd like to get some growth on it while it's out here after I cut it back a bit at the top. Yeah, there's my little ficus trees that were cuttings at one time last September. You'll remember I put them in these terracotta pots early last September. Is my lemon cypress trees now. You remember when these were cuttings? They're quite the size now. They're getting on. There's my smaller jade tree. And here's my Chinese elm cuttings that I got from the bonsai zone also last September. And they are just getting really huge. You look at this one here is about 2 feet, 2.5 feet long, so I gotta be cutting this guy back really soon. They've just been doing really excellent. And here's my kapok trees. You can see here, I'll pull this one out. This one's got a lot of new growth on here just in this last, I'd say, month or a few weeks, especially since we brought it outside. It's done terrific. This larger one here, in this pot here, I almost lost it. I don't know what happened to it over the winter time. It could have been the scale insects. I did get them all off, but I think it was almost too late for this guy. But you know, he came back after I brought him outside, so that's just awesome. I hope I can get a lot more growth on this before the fall comes. This one here, I'm going to be growing it fairly tall. These other ones, I'm going to be keeping these cut back for smaller trees. This other smaller one, same thing, I almost lost it, but it's doing a lot better now. Around the corner here, we have my other lemon cypress. Doing fairly good. However, the top broke off of this one here. I'm not too sure how. Maybe a rabbit kind of jumped on top of it. I'm not too sure. They get a little nosy and wonder what's up on here sometimes too, but they generally don't cause any harm. So that one's really growing. You remember a year ago I had this. It was about half the size. And that was when I had that one stick in there that was keeping the branches from overlapping each other, kind of to divide them. But anyway, that's long gone. It's quite big now. This was the smallest cutting. If you remember this one here, this was very small. I was amazed that it came back because I thought that I had lost it about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago. But obviously it came back and it's just doing amazing. I mean, it's almost caught up to the other larger cuttings. I mean, it's 3/4 of the size of the other cuttings, so I mean, it's just doing awesome. Yeah, so that's about it. I got some more other cedar cutting that's doing really good. I think it's gonna pull through. Crabapple cuttings. Really early spring I done some pruning on my crabapple tree, so this one might be okay. This one might be okay because the growth, I still have new growth coming out of it. And we're just now into July, so I'm really hoping that those two take. So that would be nice. And other than that, that's the majority of things here. Oh, one more thing. My azalea bonsai. And yeah, I refer to this as a bonsai because I am going to be putting it in this small pot that actually I have this little plastic container in right now, because I am going to be keeping this fairly small. So I did have some flowers on this. You can see there was one there, and there's another flower that's just about to come out right here. Right there, you can see. Right underneath here. So that's really awesome. So yeah, it's starting to put out some flowers this year, which is great. This also came from the bonsai zone early last September. It's also done a fair bit of growing. It's surviving and thriving, so that's the main thing. So I'm really looking forward to working with this. And I found a nice little pot for it, and yeah, I've decided to keep it this size. There's my other kapok trees. These ones lost a lot of the older leaves when they started these new leaves about a month ago. Not too sure why, but however, they're striving and thriving. Here's some more new growth up here where I'd cut it back a while ago. Also, here's a little juniper that I've had for just over a year. I also got to do something with it. I've got a couple things in mind that I'm going to be doing also this summer. Oh, I know one more thing that I got to show you guys. In behind my bench out the back here are my spruce trees. If you remember these, they used to be in my wheelbarrow back in the springtime. Things got really busy for me, and I was in debate of exactly what to do with them. So at least for this year I put them in the ground, and they've actually taken right off. So they're really loving it back here. See all the new candles near the top? That's the larger one. And down here, you remember the short one. So that also got all new candles up near the top, so that was really good. I was glad to see that. So for now, I got them in the ground until I decide what to do with them, but that'll probably be next spring. And here are the cedar trees that I got at the same time, if you remember. I put those in larger nursery pots that I had from other plants. That's why I like to keep all my nursery pots, because I just never know when I need them. And this is just a couple good examples. They have got some newer growth on them, but not a lot, maybe about an inch. At least around the top of the tree, and it has greened up some around the bottom, which is good. So it's looking like they're going to make it. I decided to keep them in pots for now. The backs of them are still looking a little bare, if not possibly dead. Right now, I have the vigorous side facing the sun, because I just want these to start coming back really good for now. So once I got them coming back really good, I'm going to turn them around and hopefully start getting some new growth in the back of the trees also. So yeah, that's what happened with those trees. So they're alive and thriving, and that's the main thing for now. Well guys, that's it for today. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to be working on my trees, and throughout the summer, hopefully we'll get through almost all of them before the fall arrives. I hope you guys have a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.